Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Making Sense of It All with Jesse Stakes. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to know that being in real estate, especially in Florida, hasn't been a bad place to be over the last several years. Now, commercial real estate can be a different animal altogether. There's a lot more to the deals and there's a lot more moving parts. My guest this week is the founder and owner of Prime Realty in Northeast Florida, Tyler Saldutti. He is a fourth-generation real estate entrepreneur, so at this point, I guess you could say that it's in his blood. He and his team at Prime provide full-service commercial real estate solutions for developers, owners, tenants, and investors throughout Northeast Florida and the Georgia markets. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Tyler Saldutti. Let's jump right into it. So high level, I mean, most of the people in the Jacksonville area are going to know who you are, but for everyone that is in my audience around the country, can you share with them who you are and who Prime Realty is?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Tyler Saldutti. I am the founder and CEO of a commercial real estate firm called Prime Realty. And what that means as a commercial real estate firm is we help people with office, industrial, retail, and multifamily properties, buying them, selling them, managing them, doing the leasing, and helping develop new property.
So I'm sure that you didn't grow up when you were 10 years old thinking, I really want to be in commercial real estate. Yes? Maybe you did.
I remember a time where I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I want to say that's about when Top Gun came out. So may have been some uh, overlap there between Top Gun and my ambitions of flying.
So what inspired you to get into commercial real estate in the first place?
Oh gosh, I I I found a lifestyle in it and a purpose in it. Um, that came from working in consulting, both here and abroad. That came from doing, high finance and uh, working on trading commodity futures. But, along with the American small business experience, growing up around that, working really exclusively for the most part in small businesses in my career, and commercial real estate scratches an itch that I have to support entrepreneurs and to help people build wealth long term. Um, when you're trading commodities, you're building wealth short term. It's a
Right.
short move in the market. A lot of times, it's you know uh, something that may or may not have a long term goal. And as the owner of Prime Realty, both servicing our clients, but also watching our associates build their careers and their businesses, you get to see just raw entrepreneurship, eat what you kill compensation as a commercial real estate broker, and transactions in an office headquarters or a new industrial facility, um, retail store expansion are just the most entrepreneurial endeavor you can think of. It's all the characteristics of creating new resources, new opportunities out of something that wasn't there before. You're making jobs for people and you're making more products, more services than there were before you did the project. And that's a fun way to spend your days, your weeks, your working life. And so I did. I found a real purpose and a very fulfilling calling in
No doubt.
real estate.
I feel like people look at commercial real estate sometimes and they just look at it as transactional, but what you just described is a very creative career as well. And I think that that's something that people don't think about all the time is that you have to you have to have a vision. You have to have a thought of what things can be, not just what they are, but what they can be. Yes.
Correct. And if commercial real estate brokerage firms aren't out there making it happen, there's nobody else in the equation that's motivated to do that. Um, Even the entrepreneur that's developing the property, there's no other entity involved that is solely motivated to keep the gears of the economy going and make these transactions happen.
Do you have a favorite one that comes to mind, or do you have kind of a, one like something that sticks in your mind when you think about a project that you've done in the past, or one that you're currently doing that just is just a favorite, or your favorite child, if you will?
Our uh, our quintessential. I don't want to call anybody out,
Sure.
but I'll say our quintessential transaction is a family owned business. It's a small business, and it's privately owned, I should say, and families are tied to people. And when we have success, you see it, you see it in somebody's life, you see it in somebody that's typically trying to build something maybe to pass on or build something with some very long-term goals. So my favorite transactions are very much relationships and not transactions. And you become that trusted advisor, and you don't really, you make a sale, you earn a fee. You make a friend, you earn a fortune. And when you can take the transactions to that friendship level and get to know the big picture of an organization, and a lot of times that's a private organization. Those are the best. And sometimes that's we make widgets, and we're going to help you develop a better warehouse to go make more widgets. And sometimes we sell, our product, and we're going to help you expand or franchise and open more locations to get your products to more people. But often it's just the real estate itself, meaning it's investors, our doctors, their lawyers, their other professionals, and they make their living elsewhere. And we join with them either as individuals or put together small groups to buy a retail center. Um, and the best project and the best uh, opportunities that we see a lot of times are not necessarily, sometimes it's to build something ground up, and sometimes it's to take an asset that we see isn't serving the community to its fullest potential. And, that's maybe a romantic way of saying to renovate it and put new tenants in and bring new business and new life. And where Prime Realty differentiates from the competition or the other options out there is in two ways. It's being full service and it's being boutique. And so when you're full service and you're helping property reach its full potential, um, and you have the property management side of things that like we do, um, we can be better property managers because we've got a great leasing team. And we can be better leasing team because we've got fantastic investment brokers. And when the leasing team's putting the lease together, the investment side of things is there to put eyes on it to say, this sounds like it's not a big deal right now. This first right of refusal, or trying to cap the expenses here. But listen, if we were to ever sell this property, here's how it's going to affect them. And then vice versa. And on the investment side, our leasing team's there to say, hey, here's the tenant right now that's in the market that's expanding. If we could backfill that space, we're going to be able to get X amount more in rent. And the property managers are unsung heroes.
Sure.
something that we do a little bit differently, and in today's market is so crucial, is a property improvement plan. So if you think of it as, we don't employ any realtors, we don't sell houses, but you think of you might hire somebody to sell your house, and she comes in and tells you, let's do this in the kitchen, let's, make these improvements to these bathrooms, and bing, bang, boom, with this investment, all of a sudden your home is worth so much more.
Right.
Well, that's my analogy to what we do. And we may charge a small retainer for it, which allows us to do the work that should be done when you're bringing a property to market for sale. And what that looks like is being boutique. Everyone knows what that means. It means you're dealing with somebody that's a real expert in that property type, that in that part of town. And being boutique means you're going to get a lot different service and customer service. And it's going to be custom to you, and you're not dealing with a big company where you're just going to get put through a process. And that's where you can, again, take the property manager, the leasing team, and the sales team all together to a property and come up with a strategic plan to maximize the sale.
Truly full service.
Full service, and there's that step in between, hey, I want to sell this property, and okay, we're ready to sell it. And sometimes that's making improvements physically, sometimes it's making improvements legally, and most often it's making improvements financially and us getting the rent roll where it needs to be.
Very fair. So that being said, one of the things I'm a little bit remiss about is I didn't tell my audience kind of what area you serve as far as what Prime Realty covers geographically.
We are licensed in the states of Florida and Georgia. Most of our business is here in Northeast Florida, and our relationships take us, nationwide.
And I think that's, just like what you said, it's important because you guys truly are experts in the market that you cover. It's not, you're in a market that you truly understand tip to tail. There's nothing that really is going to be a surprise to you when it comes to commercial real estate in the market where you truly are an expert.
I certainly hope so.
So that being said, and it's kind of a leading question here, but the North Florida market has experienced exponential growth over the last few years. COVID gave it an incredible shot in the arm with people coming to Florida. What has that meant to you guys? How has that impacted your business?
So many people are here now that weren't here before.
Right.
And they all needed a house or an apartment to live in. And we help people buy and sell apartments, and that has been an absolute boom. On the retail side, people have needed more places to get their haircut, or go out to dinner, or buy their shoes. So, office space. Believe it or not, we've needed more office space. More on.
And not every market can say that.
Well, here's where large bulk space in a downtown urban core, including Jacksonville, is a different animal. But when you're talking about the demographic trends of COVID, of the whole country moving to Florida for their own chosen reason,
right?
They've needed more office space. A lot of times, small, medium-sized office space, and industrial nationwide. But obviously, the migration to Florida has made it even more so in our Northeast Florida market, including last mile distribution, people spending to buy a product online, have all been a boom. So you need more places to warehouse and distribute your product. You need more retail space. For the people that have moved here, need more goods and services, and you need places to go work, and you need office space. So it's been a very very common sense issue we had. More people here, we need more space to run our businesses and do our business. And
No doubt. And I think it's, you hit on a very important part that I think people don't think about. They think about, okay, we need more homes and we need space for people. It may be multifamily. I don't think what people think about enough is the fact that you need more family care physicians because they're full. Dermatologists are full and they have a 6 month waiting list. You've got, to your point, I mean, as simple as getting your hair cut. All of those personal services and medical services, grocery stores, all of that. There's so much more of a demand for it as we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of people move into this state. So it's things that were maybe unintended or unthought of, but they are tremendous benefits for businesses like yours. And also it allows for, I think some tremendous creativity. I've seen some projects where they've even taken old, like true office space, small office space and converted it into residential. It's allowed for some creativity on that side as well.
if you want a barometer, if you want Tyler's barometer on if you're underbuilt or overbuilt, uh, see how difficult it is to get a reservation at your favorite restaurant.
Fair
You
enough.
know, that's your supply and demand, and it's that'll tell you.
So we were talking before we jumped on the podcast about a project that you have your day job, you have everything that you're doing, and you don't take any time away from that, but you have a pretty cool project that you have personally taken on as well. Yes.
Yes,
So tell us
people
about it.
people love to talk about um, old buildings. People that people turn into something cool, like the ice plant down in St. August,
Yes.
um, or the candy factory at Sweet Pete. Um, and people are always looking for more culture and entertainment, I think. And so I've been fortunate to be the custodian of a glass factory, old glass factory that uh, gentleman before me had developed into a wedding venue, and a wonderful team of people have helped it blossom into an event space for, like I said, entertainment and cultural events in Northeast Florida, from a risque burlesque show to a filming studio for some of our places of worship here in town. So just a very much a blank canvas to service where the demand is, um, and like I said, maybe bring some new entertainment and cultural events into the city.
No doubt. It's a very cool venue. We'll make sure that we have some links to it underneath the everywhere that we put this interview, because I think it's a neat space and it's something, if you haven't checked it out, it's worth checking out. So before we wrap up this, or before I let you go, I'd love to get kind of your take on where you feel like the U.S. market and the local market are going when it comes to how, I mean, we did talk about a little bit how COVID changed some things, but you're starting to see people return to their offices. You're starting to see a lot of these larger companies say, hey, no more remote work. We need you guys to come back in the office. I feel like I'm starting to see that more. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing people kind of return and see the value of commercial space again and having all of that, basically that office community be brought back together?
This conversation is so different depending on what table I'm sitting at, in what industry, and what part of the country I'm in.
Okay.
We never closed down in our office, really. Some of that is being the essential workers on the property management side, and some of it's being in Northeast Florida, and some of it's being a commission based operation.
No doubt.
I'd say those three things for commercial real estate firms kept us pretty active and maybe traditional in our approach to being innovative, right? I think for our industry, innovation is difficult over these Zoom meetings, um, because everything is so right here, right now. Um, what's happening in a deal that you overhear, and the way Paul, says the water cooler conversation, but
Right.
it's not even that. It's just the energy and having your finger on the pulse. For us, that's important, and that's not a Prime Realty thing. That's truly our industry. And then you get into, I don't know if some banker friends of mine will ever go back, certainly full time, to an office. So, and I don't know if, in certain roles it's as important. But to answer your question directly, I guess the question is, are people right now all that different than they were a year ago? Do I see a year from now it being all that different? It wasn't, this is just my opinion. It wasn't a big technological change. We didn't not have the automobile, and now we're all going to move to the suburbs and the whole country is going to be changed. Zoom was there. The technology that allows you to do this was already there. If it was a long-term change, it would have happened. This was a health scare, and
Sure.
something to get through. I think across the board, innovation is going to be um, the way it always has been. But um, it was, are there going to be long-term effects on the employer-employee relationship? I think that's maybe where you see it. I don't
Right.
think office space is going away. I don't think the need for office space is going away. But does everybody have to be chained to their desk? Um, no, not in certain roles, not at all. And I think that was a very healthy change where you can recognize a quality of life, a single parent, and somebody where a little flexibility maybe makes society a better place, and more time with their kids, or maybe a stronger family unit. I love to see that
Right.
happen, or to look back on, again, a terrible health um, crisis, creating a better lifestyle for the American family.
Fair
But
enough.
but no, I don't think. I think the entrepreneurs are going to take the big blocks of downtown vacant office space, and they're going to turn them into um, places for people to live and enjoy these urban cores. And people like students, and people like older people. I don't know, people that don't want to be driving around, but want to live near other older people and live near fantastic medical facilities, or young college people that want to live in an urban core and be near, hopefully, more and more of our institutions and universities find the urban cores and cities and of Florida and Georgia and beyond, um, as a great and very efficient place to be um, teaching people. Like you've already mentioned, medical facilities. You can have medical schools down in these downtowns. But if you think about a college campus and you think about an urban core, there's similarities there to the efficiency of everybody being close in proximity. The buildings to go to class are right there. Facilities to be doing, live, work, study, and learn through working internships, things of that nature are right there. And I'd love to see our urban cores be this new ecosystem of I don't know if you want to call it assisted living, communities, students, and workplaces all being in a very dense, very efficient to collaborate. Then you've got new, fresh ideas from the students, and you've got wisdom from the experienced people. And you have, again, if you want to be near um, medical, the best medical minds in the world and facilities, uh, wouldn't it be great to be near your urban core where
No doubt. No doubt. I think it's almost where practicality and creativity meet. I think that's a
yeah.
very fair point. If people have enjoyed what they hear and they'd like to learn more about yourself, more about your company, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You can give us a call, you can shoot us an email, and I'll give you our phone number, 904 352 1400, and visit us at primerealtyinc.com. And we'd love to connect with you and get a conversation going.
No doubt. Tyler, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I think it's very educational for the people that are listening. And I think that there's a lot of people that maybe have a fear of joining or jumping into the commercial market. And I know that you guys can help them navigate that and make it easier on them. So again, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you very much.
Tell you what, a great conversation about an industry that really touches all industries. It's been an interesting market here in Florida, to say the least, over the last few years, and I hope that everybody listening enjoyed a peek behind the curtain at one of the top boutique firms in Northeast Florida. That's going to do it for us today. I'll catch you guys next time.